All right, what's going on, you guys? As you've seen by the title, we have a lot to cover today, a lot of things to talk about. Some of you have been asking in the comments for a video like this for a pretty long time, and it is finally here. I'm sorry it took so long. But yeah, whether you're new or farther progressed, this is going to help you, whether it's a little bit or a lot. No more yap, let's get into the video. Alright, geez, what's up, you guys? First, before I get into the tier list and explaining why things are where they are, I'm just gonna glance and quickly read over something Hanako said, along with releasing the tier list. An important note to make, from now on, all wiki tier lists from me will consider the best trait and hidden potential builds. Besides that, the usual still applies. There are too few units to split in the tier list into two for infinite and progressive. Blah blah blah. I don't have to explain this, but if a unit shows up at multiple areas in the meta tiers, you can safely say the unit is very good overall. That out of the way. Ishtar spot dethroned for meta infinite. I think Astdx should have been there from the beginning. Nothing really works without her time stop. Toby, just really high DPS. Kurma, really high DPS. Actually took Kila's spot. Kind of interesting. I don't know if I agree, but I don't know. I don't even have Kurma, so I really can't say anything. Stark is in meta early, meta late, and meta infinite. He is a line, so I don't really know how I feel about the infinite placement. I think, personally, Kokoshibo and Ulk should be a lot higher, and maybe even Benimaru, dare I say, because they are just all a lot better for hitting more units. Speaking of Benimaru, he's in every meta tier list. I have this guy. I think I must be missing out on something because he's really not that crazy. But Rain, I saw a lot of people hating on him, saying he's one of the weakest units they added in the update, but obviously he's not, because he made it into 2 meta tiers while he's barely in there to say early, he's barely above Trunks, and he's barely above Astdx, but he's still there. So we have Toji. He's in every tier. He's just a very solid unit. On placement, he's a line with bleed. I think like 20-something range, or depending on his trait. But he's really nice on placement. Meta late, he's really good for late DPS as well because of his absolutely colossal size circle AoE. And who else we have? Kurma. Yeah, in every tier, as expected. They're really busted. They won't be busted for too long, I believe. For a long time, they were full AoE hybrid with a very large DPS, and that was a mistake. I don't know if it's already out of the game, don't quote me, but it is getting removed. Inumaki didn't make it to meta tier lists or any of the meta tiers. He has a really high DPS in his cut mode, but his circle is literally almost as small as it gets, so I guess that makes sense why he's not in there. Yami is a line, so I don't know. That's probably why he's not in meta infinite, but also Stark is in here, I believe. Yeah, Stark is in here, so I don't know why Yami isn't personally, but he is very good. Black Flames, best damage over time in the game, undebatable until they add something like Rupture from the old game. But yeah, I don't think anything else has really changed here. Maybe Ulk getting moved back, but yeah. Now we're gonna go take a look at the updated DPS sheet that includes all of the new units with their meta builds and just whatever. Alrighty, so this is the DPS sheet that puts all of their hidden potential and traits, but all that stuff in the into the mix, basically. So Toby is taking Stark out of the race, or at least out of first place. He has a good circle. He has a pretty solid SPA. This is, consider again, just keep in mind, this is with traits. There is classic with no traits or hidden potential, and then there's recommended hidden potential builds, whatever still. This is just hidden potential builds mixed with DPS sheet, basically. So All-Star, because he is a 3 placement, look at his DPS, max buff DPS, nearly 50,000. Nearly at or at least nearly at the unbuffed version of Toji on release. I don't know if you guys saw my video on that, but he had 73k DPS. That would have been ridiculous. So with the best build, A lot of you guys said I was whining, and I actually had a fan come into my server in my DMs or whatever and tell me how wrong I was for not considering, you know, it's not just DPS, it's their AoE and their best builds with the best traits. Even with All-Star, Toji and Toby in the new units are still better than Kokoshibo with his most optimized build, so take that. No bad blood or anything, I'm just joking around. Benimaru, 4 placement. So basically, if your unit doesn't have an all-star on it, you can assume they're a 4 placement. Benimaru, crazy high DPS. Again, I just don't know where the hell they're getting this from. Inumaki cut, that is his bleed mode with his stupid small circle. Look at that DPS. That's literally insane. He's a 4 placement. He's pretty nice. I'm just gonna scroll through this and not yap pretty much, because honestly, they're all fairly similar here. And I'll let you look at the DPS, of course. I will try to not go too fast. Alright, that's all of it. We're gonna get into the recommended hidden potential builds next. Alright, we're just gonna take a quick little glance. I'm not gonna keep you guys for much longer. Corrupted because he's a 4 placement, damage because he can't have range, even though he is a damage over time, but his SPA is god awful. So we're going with the damage right on him. Inumaki, damage, corrupted. He's a 4 placement. Him with Bloodlust is literally insane, by the way. He already has a stupid low SPA. I'm never calling it SPD. Hate to break it to you. Kurma, all-star, makes sense. 3 placement, damage, also makes sense. Marker makes even more sense because full AoE. Progressive, yeah. Rain, I don't see him being used for anything progressive. He's not even special, really. Stark, full damage. Yeah, I honestly think it should be damage on his progressive as well, but hey. Toby, full damage, all-star. Toji, full damage. I went the SBA route on my Toji, personally. I think it's better for progression. Yami, I think it should be range on both, just because of how many times he ticks, so how many opportunities there are for the damage to ricochet. I'm going to scroll back up. You guys can pause if needed, but the video is basically over. All right, have a good one.